Hey guys, Don here. I want to talk about a couple of email tips. I got an invite from a friend of mine. He was part of my local mastermind. He's actually deals with credit card processing. That's his business. And what he sent me was an invite to something you may have heard about called Superhuman. If you haven't heard about it, you can Google Superhuman. It's kind of a neat email kind of, app, I guess you could call it. And it's for people that don't have really control of their email inbox. It does a really good job at deciding what's important, what's not important. And it's really, I think it's kind of focused on, I believe it was Tim Ferriss's idea of kind of organizing your email. And I want to give you some email tips. Really, my favorite tip that I learned from Tim Ferriss was something called the optional email box. Okay, so let me explain. If you look at my email, basically I have a couple of folders, and I use Gmail for the most part. I do have an office email, but I use my Gmail primarily. My office is mostly just for patient things, but for my Gmail is really the workhorse of all my email. And the main tip is using an optional email box. So what that is you make a folder called optional, and all the junk that it's not really important, you do a filter. So when that email comes in, you can click filter, and so it'll filter all those emails either from that subject line or from that source, and it puts everything in that optional box. And I do that, everything that comes in the first time, I just filter it and I put it in the optional. And so the only things that come in my email box are the things that I need to take action upon, and that's the way I do it. Now I also have just a folder called direct response. And basically those are the email marketing things. And so within the direct response, like each person's email that I sign up for, because I want to kind of follow how they do the marketing. So for example, I interviewed recently Larry Huppin on his, and so he has, it's called footankle.com. That's his website in Washington. And so when I subscribe to that, I don't like having all these emails come in, so they automatically get folded to direct response, and then a folder for his group there. And so I can go back and I can review the string of emails that he sends out to learn how he's kind of marketing to his patients that drip response. So those are the two kind of tips, would be the optional email box, email folder, and then if it's just segmenting things. So that the only thing that you have to look at in your email box are the real important things. Because if you get all these newsletters that you sign up for, you're going to get kind of overwhelmed. One tip I've showed you in the past, or I talked about before, is something called followupthen.com. And I was getting overwhelmed because for Follow Up Then, I used to like let's say I just visited Bill, for example. Bill came to the office, and I want to invite Bill to do another interview, right? So I sent him an email and I said, Bill, let's do another interview on the podcast. And then I have in the Follow Up Then line, I put it at 2 weeks at Follow Up Then, so it'll send it back to me in 2 weeks if he doesn't get back to me to schedule that interview. But all those follow-ups, I used to have like 15 follow-ups. So what I did is I made another folder called follow-ups. And so then once a day, if I want to look at those follow-ups, they show up there. So they don't clutter the inbox. The key would be to go to inbox 0. And that's really a feasible thing. And it's pretty easy to do that. I do that with the optional email and also with these other folders. And basically, I just go to those folders when I want to. That might be once a day, it might be once a week, whatever your process is. But getting the email 0, I don't know if you've done that, but it feels really good. If you have like thousands of emails, that might be an option. Another option is a paid version. It's called Superhuman, and I think it's like $30 a month. But I think they use a lot of these ways that you can set up yourself as well if you want. And the other resource I talked about was followupthen.com. You can just Google that to learn more about Follow Up Then. Okay, those are some email tips. Okay, have a great day, guys.